Hello, Mafalda. So I just uploaded the presentation.
I'm sorry.
I was saying that I just uploaded the presentation. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, it's okay for me. Okay, then if you agree, we can begin.
Okay. Is it just speaking?
Sorry, it's just.
Is it just for me to address the public? Do I need to switch the?
Oh, I'm going to introduce you, and then after you can. I think you can present speakers if you want.
I can present who? Sorry.
Speakers.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay, for sure.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I hope you enjoy this place. Welcome on the second day on Laval Virtual World. We are about to begin this morning with a session about tourism, especially tourism in very, very special times. So let me introduce you, Luis.
Hi.
Hello, Luis.
Hello.
Luis will be the moderator of this session. So stage is yours, Luis.
Thank you very much, Gregory. Hi all. Welcome to this session. We are living strange times, and it is really important today to define what, well, pretty much this year, the next year, and probably the decade is going to be in tourism. It's a big responsibility what we do right now. So with us today, we will have several speakers that will actually help us do exactly that. With me, you have Mafalda RICCA, that pretty much runs X-PLORA, which is a startup that is focused on immersive experiences for tourism. Then you will also have the presence of Joao MONSANTO, that is the president of LarM, an agency focused on creating augmented reality experiences for heritage in several municipalities, and monuments. And then we'll also count with Daniel GETACHEW, that will bring us a bit of what's happening in Africa, and also Tracy COSGROVE, that is going to fly in from Myanmar and bring us a bit of what's how Myanmar is well ahead with VR training for hospitality. And then afterwards, we're going to have a panel with Mafalda, with Frengiz SURTY, and Barbara LIPPE, and I'm missing, oh, and Tracy. And we're going to talk a bit about, well, pretty much all these topics and how are we going the disease. So we're talking about tourism after COVID-19, and we do believe that, well, augmented reality has a stake. So, well, first of all, welcome. Here we are. But the whole point is that COVID-19 already changed things. So, and what did COVID-19 until now already change? Well, one thing's for certain, it actually changed us as human beings, and of course us as tourists, as consumers. So right now, in which means, in what did it change in us? Well, to start, pretty much we right now are very aware of the recursive properties that this disease has. So right now we are thinking, will it happen again? And will it happen again? So right now we are believing that we will probably be back to quarantine anytime soon. But if not, we really need to be prepared, because at this point we feel that we weren't prepared, and so we were sent to our rooms. And that is a very, very important part of what consumers right now think, and tourists. So should I actually go to places with a lot of people? Maybe not. Should I actually go to cities? Maybe not. Maybe I'll go off the beaten track. Should I make decisions based solely on price? Maybe not. Maybe I will need to take in account the service, the cleanliness, the space, the size, the security of the spaces and the places that I'm going to visit. So this right now is affecting us, and with good solid arguments, because on the right side you see that I wouldn't say half, but almost half of the major diseases and outbreaks and by the OMS were actually during this century, right? So right now also we have more interface time. So what's happening right now? So all of us here looking at screens, interacting with VR headsets. So this is a way that we have to connect, and we are trusting this way. We are more and more getting digital trust from this experience. So what does this mean? This means that, businesses can leverage on this, because suddenly the criteria that I have to make my buying decisions, to make my purchases, is a bit different from the one that I had 2 months ago, since right now I can do a lot online because I have to. So I'm getting used to it, and as a consumer, that pretty much defines me. And also at the same time, space, due to the digital interfaces, is not relevant, and with it, distance. So this means that there's an opportunity for international business, and there's a clear opportunity also, for VR and AR, of course. And why VR and AR? Well, getting back to the digital trust and the falling out of places, talking, for instance, about virtual reality and replacing physical reality with a digital one, we're talking about having new spaces to explore, and that is a huge opportunity, I think, for tourism businesses to explore. More than that, augmented reality, by overlaying digital objects on physical reality, it actually changes the meaning of those spaces in our perception as users. So what does this mean? This means that suddenly I can, through the power of this technology, change my experience and actually allow me to have in the same space very different experiences for also very different users. So the bespoke experiences, can leverage this digital trust that we were just talking. And pretty much what we're talking about in augmented reality experiences and virtual reality experiences are improved screens, are necessarily also improved digital trust, in the sense that these improved screens provide, or these improved experience provides us with a better interaction with the spaces, with the objects, and necessarily also these spaces have also new rules. So this also needs to be talked about. So how do people communicate here? What is the etiquette of communicating in spaces like VR, in spaces like pretty much the online areas that we're working on? And more than that, how is that going to be amplified by a new infrastructure that is right now being implemented? I think a lot. So pretty much today, what we're going to talk about is, well, we're going to talk about hologram tours. We're going to talk about how the VR worlds can be explored and how these businesses can be pushed forward. Yeah, and pretty much how you can have like remote tourist guides that pretty much allow for users to have tours, but probably not getting the tour guide, the physical tour guide with you. And I think that, for instance, that is going to be a really big thing. It's going to be on the rise clearly due to the COVID outbreak. Yeah, tourism is right now already changing. That's pretty much the main message I wanted to pass on. For myself right now, well, I work at nextreality.com, and pretty much we are pushing also forward this all these topics, and it's going to be really cool to hear also what all our speakers want to or will talk about. Here are pretty much my contacts also if you want to connect and continue a conversation. I do hope that pretty much everything goes swell and that you can keep up with us during this morning. Thank you very much again. And now I will be passing on the stage to Mafalda. Hello, Mafalda.
Sorry, Mafalda, but we can't hear you. Sorry.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm loading Mafalda's presentation.
Philippe?
Ellie, tu m'entends?
Tu m'entends et toi?
Ouais, je t'entends.
S'il vous plaît, coupez vos micros. Toute la salle vous entend.
Pardon.
Sorry, Mafalda, but we can't hear you.
Yeah, I actually am talking with her on the side, and I asked her to well, pretty much reset and come back to the world because she says that she's speaking, but no one's hearing. So I don't know.
Okay, yeah, you can log out and come back.
That's it. Meanwhile, I'm uploading the presentation.
Maybe it could be simpler. I have a link to her presentation.
Sorry?
I have a link to her presentation.
Oh, you do? Oh, perfect.
We just want to try if it's work or not.
Ah, perfect.
Yeah, just a minute. Mafalda will come back in a few minutes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if anyone has any question to kick off or has any topic for us to start, well, pushing forward the presentation while Mafalda is loading them, well, he's coming in, please do let me know. Sure. If you have a question, I will have an answer.
If possible, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Regarding the fact that space and the distance is becoming less and less relevant also for users, but how do you convince like the majority of the people globally to adopt AR and VR, since it's not something that is like spread out like a mobile phone?
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I think it starts with us not talking about augmented reality and virtual reality, in the sense that we also do not talk about GSM and GPRS and, well, the technologies underlying the smartphones. I think that's where having like a device like a smart glass that pretty much makes it very visible, the technology very tangible, actually helps. So I do think that with things that technologies like web AR, the technologies like the smart glasses themselves will probably bring a much broader usage of these technologies. So I guess that overall, yeah, we will have probably a much bigger usage due to that in the coming year. However, besides that, I think that right now we are going more as users into VR. We are going more into AR because we have the time, and because especially VR is something that we can do well, pretty much at home, and it teleports us to other places. So in that sense, I do think that it's more of a matter of us pretty much picking up the torch and well, making it bigger and promote the effects of the technology more than the technology themselves. This, of course, needs to be done by other people rather than the technology themselves. So I do think that 5G will help, so because the telcos will be pushing forward the technology and they will be promoting it. So probably in the same way that we have, everyone has cable TV because everyone has a set-top box at home. Probably we will have, due to the telcos also, I don't know, maybe VR glasses, maybe AR glasses in our houses, because they, well, pretty much picked it up and said that it was a good business. I have yet another question here, which is, which hardware do you propose to give the end consumers access to VR? I'm not the best person to answer that, but this is a cool question to put forward to our panel. So yeah, let's see. VR and AR will replace smartphones. It says ProTube VR. That's a bold statement.
So Mafalda, now can you hear us?
No, we are not hearing you, Mafalda. Maybe it's something with yeah. Well,
Can I
if
make a
you
question?
sure.
Okay, so now that we have to recover our economy, our health, like in a global way, where do you think these resources to develop the VR tourism could come from?
The researchers, sorry?
The resources, like where we will find funding, like you think governments are gonna put some money there for some doing some calls, or you think these resources are going to come from?
Yeah, for sure. It's going to happen because it's a global issue. So I do believe that it's something that is pretty much in there. So yeah, for sure. It's really, really. I think it's unavoidable that the governments bet on this, and that the tourism sector rises. So yeah, for sure. I'm actually going. I just had an idea. So, Mafalda, are you there? What about I put you on speaker on my and you actually talk through my mic.
Okay, it will help, I think. Do you hear me?
Well,
do you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear. Grégory, are you hearing Mafalda?
Okay, and the presentation is on the screen.
Okay.
So it's not perfect, but it's a new way to do a presentation.
Okay.
Okay, so do you hear me? May I start to speak?
Well, I can. Can we, Grégory? Are you listening to Mafalda?
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect. Then let's go.
Okay. So good morning. Thank you for this invitation. Thank you, Laval. Thank you, Luis. So I'm here to present you X-PLORA and how AR and VR was part of our history success in tourism markets, mainly for museums and visitor centers. Okay. So Flora is a spin-off from a company that is Gemma that has a proven track record on experiences for museums. Okay, with a great expertise in immersive experience. Try to change the slide. Okay. So why we start with this X-PLORA technology? We're seeing a market where the tourism was growing really fast. AR and VR market was really a growing, valuable market. And then we have lots of examples of museums that were introducing technology great results on the visitors. Okay, so then we came out with this technology, X-PLORA, that was guiding the visitors through venues in a totally interactive and immersive way. Okay, so what this technology have with a contextualization system that was triggering content from where people are, and then with customized contents to each visitor, to each user, with a rich content of AR and VR to get a better experience, and with a strong storytelling and gamification. We came out with this X-PLORA app. So the thing is that with this solution, we were improving the experience, increasing the dynamism of the visit on a museum, and we were of course adding value to it, and also to the business of each museum, as we are going to get more data from users. Here we have different portfolio examples. Our first great example was on the Benfica Stadium, where we are guiding the visitors through this venue, AR experience with football players, with 360 experiences on inside the stadium. And also we have another example that is Shopping Portal, that is an app, a city guide, in order to give the opportunity of the tourists to find out every little stores, every traditional stores inside the city center. Another example that we have that is in Almeida. Almeida is a historical village, a small village in Portugal, and they realized that that AR and VR will be really useful for them in order to get back the castle that they don't have there anymore, because it was destroyed by the French invasions, and so we are putting back the castle and other elements from the story on this city guide inside this small village. Okay. As areas of expertise, we are working in stadiums, in museums, as I said, retail, and also we have several recognitions, awards, such as we were finalists on Stadium Business Summit Awards. We are partners of Change the Game, that is a program from Ajax Stadium. And then we were invested by a venture capital that was just betting on these products as it was a promisor solution for.
Mafalda, sorry, can you please disconnect the volume from your side, because there's feedback coming in.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Better now.
Yeah.
Okay. As I was saying, we have like Portugal Ventures investment in this spin-off from Gemma. that was like a bet on this technology, right? On this AR and VR technology for tourism. Then we were launching this company by the end of the last year. Then we had this pandemic coronavirus contest, and we find out that we have a huge opportunity to introduce technology to some museums that don't really recognize yet technology as a tool, as an important tool for the visit. Okay, so it came out with this virtual tour we all hear about a virtual tour. It's not an innovative way of visiting different museums, but here we are heading on some features such as the possibility to interact with the collection, the possibility to have a guide, an avatar guide through this collection or through the museum. And with 360 degrees content, with the opportunity to have the collection inside our homes with AR. Several features that are already from X-PLORA that we are putting on inside the houses of the users that want to visit a museum. It was a perfect time to introduce X-PLORA, we thought, and we are getting different leads on that. As people were really able to try online and technology stuff inside their houses. So I don't know if you know, but for example, Louvre website just exploded from 40,000 visitors to 400,000 visitors per day with this contest. Also, the tombs on Egypt just opened their doors virtually, and it was a really recent fact, and it was interesting too, as you see like a really classical museum open up and coming up with the online and with the technology to their visit. And also with British Museum, that we have a case of the traffic of their website that is five times more than what they had before this pandemic contest. So here we had like a huge opportunity to came out with this technology for museums, bringing this technology to the visitors' homes. And here we get the end game to introduce X-PLORA to the market. So this is pretty much our story. I don't know if you have any questions. I would just like to thank you all again for being here. So please.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mafalda. This was the first time I had my avatar possessed, and well, kind of felt right. So no problems there. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask away, or raise your hand. You are more than welcome. Wait.
you see a question in the chat, Luis? How do you use gaming in your app?
Sorry?
I think it's for me, right? Sorry, Luis.
Yeah.
We use gamification to engage the visitors through the experience of a museum or of a city or a visitor center, like having front questions to the visitor through the visit, like having different things to explore inside a museum, and they will only get the information while they are making their own path inside the museum. And after this, we are giving points, bonus points as visitors find out the answers and things like that. A really normal gamification system to engage the visitor. Yes, I have here a question. If the visitor can put.
Sorry, Mafalda, can you disconnect the volume because it's giving feedback again?
Sorry. So someone was here asking me if in home AR experience does the client get to put a sculpture in their living room spatially, for example? Yes, that's the idea. The idea is that you can put the collection and the parts of the collection that you want inside your home and interact with that. Okay, that's the idea of getting this inside the homes of the visitors. I don't know if you have any more questions. Yes, you can have the slides in PDF, no problem. What kind of hardware can we use? We can use our own smartphones. It's an app to be available on the stores, and also we have some clients that want to, like museums that want to have their own tablets, for example, in order to rent as a normal audio guide. I don't know if you have any questions, any more questions. About shops and malls. About shops and malls, yeah. This as a guide that it is, it guides people inside a shopping mall or city center, as I gave the example of shopping portal. So during their visit to a shopping mall, they can have a guide through the stores, having notifications, having again gamification with points to get discounts on the stores, things like that. The experience with the tablet would be much the same as in a smartphone. Yes, we use Bluetooth beacons when we are inside a venue. For city tours, for example, we use GPS. But inside the museum, yes, we use Bluetooth beacons.
The last two questions.
Yeah, maybe there are. We find some people that are resistant to downloading another app. Then when you know that you have an alternative to rent the tablet solution, and also when you user know that with this gamification system you can have the opportunity to have more entertainments and more opportunities to visit the museum and with discounts and buying things on the store with discounts through this gamification system. I think you have here an incentive to download it.
Perfect. Mafalda, thank you very much for this. Everyone can actually connect directly with Mafalda. She's going to be around, and actually she can also pass on more information regarding the cool things that X-PLORA is doing on providing augmented reality experiences for location-based tourism. So location-based tourism, that actually sounded quite weird, but anyway, that's the purpose. So gamified tours are really going to be a great thing, and at the same time, the next speaker, Joao, is also going to talk a bit how to leverage augmented reality in pretty much tourism organizations. So Joao, you are here. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I will pass on the speaking and the stage and the virtual mic to you.
Okay, just a second, because I have to. There's no, my upload is not working. What's going on? Doesn't appear here. Let me go out and go in again. Sorry, just a few seconds.
Meanwhile, some of the questions that you put forward, we will try and pick them up at the panel later on at 11:55 CAST. So it's going to last until 12:40 CEST. So we have speeches until 11:55, and then starting from 11:55 to 12:45, we have a discussion panel on these topics and how to overcome COVID-19 within the tourism industry.
Hello, here I am again. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Okay, now I can see it. Okay, just perfect. Just 1 second. Okay. And find. No. Okay.
Yeah, share your presentation screen.
Okay, just see because it didn't work. Just see again. Let's script again. Wait just a second. Okay. One more second, please. I'm sorry, so sorry. Okay. Now, are you watching? Just perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Okay. Good morning. My name is Joao MONSANTO, and I'm the CEO of LarM, a Portuguese advertising agency that is specialized in augmented reality, and we just get passionate by this area of reality. And we see the AR in the point of view of the communication. This is why tourism was one of our most important areas. We use technology as a tool to achieve the user, and okay, that's our main asset. I will ask you if you want to have some experience during this presentation. If you want to download this app from NEXTREALITY, and you have here the QR code, and you can get it in Google Play or Apple Store, and then a little later you can use it for see some experience directly. But don't worry if you don't get it, because you can see everything the same way.
Sorry, Joe, we can't see your presentation. I think the trunk link is there.
You can see my presentation?
No, well, not for the moment.
Okay, you're correct. Okay, just a second.
Just reboot the crank wheel and it'll be
okay. Let's make it again. All right. Okay. We are all technology guys somewhere, somehow, but it's really always. Okay, let me see again.
I hope it's not the conclusion of the session for the virtual tourism. Virtual reality doesn't work.
Okay, let's see if it works now.
Yeah.
Okay, just fine. Okay, just 1 second. Okay. Okay, let me see. Okay, again, perfect. If you want to download, perfect. If not, okay, the same way. First of all, let me. Now that it's not moving. Okay. Okay. Last night it was working just perfect.
Yes, yesterday.
Okay, it's like the Murphy laws. Everything can go wrong. It will be wrong, certainly.
Yeah, just real and tranquil, and maybe you don't have to put your presentation in full screen.
Okay,
So
we'll try it.
Just try to.
Just 1 second. Now it's blocked. It's blocked. Okay.
Third time it will be good. The good time.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. I'll stop it and put it again. To appear to be here. Okay. Just 1 second, please. I could. Okay. Okay. This is.
Okay. As we have 1 minute, you can take a cup of coffee at the bottom
Yes, okay,
of the room.
Okay. Okay, I'll try. Let's put it again in crash.
Okay.
Okay, here we are again.
We see your screen. Just put your presentation and don't go in full screen.
Okay, I'm not in full screen.
It's good.
It's good? Okay.
Yeah, we see your screen. It's not perfect, but I think if in the room you can use a screen zoom and the main screen, everyone will see the presentation.
Okay, the screen zoom. Okay, it's not working very well, really. I don't know why. We block it again. Why? Something is not going, something is going wrong. So
maybe Joao, we can do like a small talk regarding pretty much your experience. So and let's do maybe a fireside chat. Would that be okay?
Okay, perfect.
Okay, perfect. Because I am pretty. I have been keeping up with what you've been doing. So pretty much you have been creating augmented reality experiences for monuments and also for municipalities. So that the kind of experiences that you do are usually based on stories. So you are creating stories. Is that it?
Yes, really, what happens is that we create LarM as a way of making communication with people, and that's our main objective. We have experience of continents, and the things that we like is really to pass the communication to people, to communicate with people, and really tourism and this experience were just making people in augmented reality speaking with people. I would have a lot of nice examples to show you how this can be done, and the environments and reconstitutions of places and things. That's the magic of augmented reality. It's really like going to another universe, and that's the feeling. We are not so turned to the technical part or to other parts. We are really focused on making augmented reality interact with people. So that's why we have made so many things for tourist area, where people will go to places and see a statue that speak to him, explain things, the statue itself. Or we rebuilt a Roman camp, or as we have made in Nazareth, we have the famous waves. We just take the wave is just 1 week a year is possible to see it, and we make it possible every day. So it's like recreate all the universe. And one thing very important with the coronavirus that is going is that's one thing that I was going to explain, and I'll be very happy to do it personally or in another occasion, is that people want, like in the future, as the near future, they will want to go to the street, see things, but they don't want social contact with no one. And one of the huge opportunities of augmented reality is because people can do that, can do tourism, culture tourism, see things, see more things that they can see just with their eyes, and they can go anywhere and without social contact. And that's one huge opportunity not for us, but for the responsibles for tourism to use augmented reality to make a new offer to everybody. And that's one huge thing. And I'm sorry again for not having the presentation to show you, but it's really very, very interesting that point of view. Another thing is that, okay, now we stay at home, we are confined to our houses. We don't really have reality to augment it. That's true, but we can use some way to do it. And another thing that I was going to show in the presentation, the reason for download the app that I referred, was really that you use your screen, your PC screen or your computer or your TV screen, just to use it as a reality. You can put there, imagine a chapel, and then you can put a Catholic Mass with Templaries or something inside it and go, including, he peels out the computer and it gets all around in your room or in your dining room or wherever, or your office, and you really can go to another universe, even stay in your home as we all are at this moment. I hope that we are all staying at our home. This is really two things that this crisis can be opportunities to augmented reality, but more than that, to people walk in other universe. Don't lose anything, just win things. And okay, that's one thing that we use. We make a lot of experience. We have some, more than a dozen apps in tourism area, and that's always our main objective. Is people take a mobile phone in his hand and they walk for a new universe, and that is a magic thing again. It's absolutely incredible what you can do. The examples I'll show you later, I'm sure you believe me that it's really magic.
Yeah. So for the people that just entered, so there was a technical issue, so we can actually do the presentation with the slides, but João will be more than welcome to pass on that presentation to whoever contacts him directly. So pretty much from what I understand, the stories that you create, João, are also based not just on 3D models, but also on chroma key videos. So pretty much you also have actors, and you also have, well, stories being produced and then overlaid on top of well, the physical places. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. You don't need to make 3D models every time, including technical. In most of in some places, 3D or 2D is exactly the same. So we film people on chroma. We dress it as the time they were alive in some cases, and then use it to present itself. Imagine that, okay, Camões, our Portuguese poet, or William Shakespeare explain things, or Van Gogh, really made by an actor, explain how he paints his famous art picture. So we use the two ways for 2D with people in chroma or with 3D, and that's the objective is the best way to communicate with people, to make the relationship, what I want to present and what people would love to hear.
Perfect. So now we got 5 minutes to receive some of your questions. So I don't know if anyone has questions regarding well, storytelling with augmented reality and trying to leverage this storytelling to the tourism area.
Yes. Another thing that's between the story is that telling a story is like we say in advertising, that every time we make an advertising spot or advertising campaign, we always must tell a story. So telling a story is basically the essential of making people inside what you want to present. So if you tell a story to someone will be listened to very well, not information. That's the difference between information and communication. If you inform, people will decide. In communication, you make people be involved in what you are telling or doing. Telling a story, you can start in one place, in one town, and get all around the downtown of that village or place, and always telling the same story. We have made one very, very nice thing in Lourdes, a small city in Algarve, at Sul of Portugal, where we take people to see the story of a poet called António Leix, a popular poet, a very poor people in the years 40 of last century. And we'll take it from different places, 8 places, where he appears telling with scenes of his own stories, like a street theater. And the street theater tells a story to his going. He walks more 1.5 to 2 kilometers, and is really involving. Like you take a theater to the street, and that's incredible experience. Moving the people, telling a story that starts in one place and ends at the end when he said to the people, to our friends, that one day when he's dying, he wants to have a song played by them. And so this is the emotional involvement that IR allows in the way that you just one more thing before is. When you are normally everyone use their 5 senses, smell, hearing, to every day and every moment. And with augmented reality, hearing and listen will be amplified. So what really happens is that you have the 5 senses, but 2 of them will offer more things, and that more things will be emotion. You can move the emotion to people using a mobile phone and with the sound and the view, and that's absolutely incredible for everyone. So okay. Thank you.
So probably, João, what I would suggest is that afterwards you can share on the public chat the presentation along with the markers that pretty much trigger the augmented reality experiences with the application that you pass on. So I guess that's pretty much the biggest thing. So thank you, João.
Okay.
Sorry for the mishap, but really your words were really meaningful. So I do believe that everyone picked up your experience, and of course everyone is more than if anyone interested wants to know more about what João is doing, well, he is here, so you just go towards him and ask him anything during this morning because he will be around. So perfect. So thank you, João.
Thank you, Luis. It was a
Now,
good way of finish at the right time. Okay, just okay.
It was.
Thank you, everybody. I'm very sorry for not be perfect, but okay, I'm here for everything you need. Thank you a lot, Luis. Thank you, Laval. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So coming up, Tracy, where are you?
Yep, I'm here.
Maybe you're on my back. No, you're not. Yes, you are. No, you're not.
Just gonna come.
Yes.
You can come on stage, please.
Yeah.
This is fun. Just going around.
I'm here.
Where? I think I'm dizzy right now. Oh, here you are. Okay. Yes. Trying the moonwalk. I see.
Yeah.
So I'm just uploading the presentation now.
Okay. I'm just trying to walk.
Tiptoeing your way.
Whee!
Yes. So pretty much I think that right now your so the presentation is loading.
Okay, perfect.
And the first word is welcomes. Welcome,
okay.
Tracy.
Perfect. All right. Thanks for the welcome. And first of all, I just wanted to say thank you for having me here. And what I'm going to be saying is quite a personal journey, which is I'm quite open and honest, and this is why you can see my family on the first slide. So good morning, everyone, and I hope you're enjoying the conference so far. I've heard some fantastic speeches at the moment, and I've had some really interesting conversations. So firstly, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Tracy COSGROVE, and I'm the founder of Passport to Success Myanmar. I'd like to take this opportunity to take you on a little journey of how Passport to Success Myanmar started. And after this, I'm going to explain to you about VRTICAL, which is our new startup for the training in the hospitality industry. Okay, so as you can see from the slide, thank you very much for helping with the slides, by the way. We have a picture of just a few places in Myanmar. Here we have Inle Lake, Gan, and Napoli, which is the beach resort. So my love for Myanmar started 17 years ago when I was in Thailand, and a friend asked me if I would go to Myanmar to meet a good friend of his. He asked if I would be able to help with helping some children in Myanmar who were from quite poor regions with their education. It didn't take long for me to see the need, and I decided to stay. Then I built some orphanages and several schools later. It was a fantastic time in Myanmar, and the country was growing. In 2011, after the first democratic elections, things in Myanmar really started to change. Myanmar was finally opening, and people were calling it the last frontier. All of a sudden, everyone wanted to be part of a gold rush. So as you can see from the slide, there was some massive changes. First of all, SIM cards originally, when I first arrived, were $3,000. You can imagine there wasn't many people who had a SIM card. By 2019, they were more or less giving them away for free. The reason I brought this into the fact is to show you how the technology has changed so much in Myanmar and how now we're going into a digital economy. There was also some other noticeable changes. Accommodation went up from £450 $50 a month, and it shot up 4 times within 2 years. IT infrastructure all of a sudden started to get better. New roads, hospitals, petrol stations. We even started to get ATMs. The ATMs actually had to have a video on the front because it was such a shock that we were having ATMs and people didn't know how to use them. In the meantime, I was getting more involved in the hospitality industry, and thanks to my partner Frank, who was a hotel general manager there. So in 2012, the main 4 tourist areas started to receive foreign investments. People were coming from all over the world for this gold rush. And there was not only local investors, there was international investors coming to see what they could do. Tourism looked like a prime product. With this, room prices increased from $70 a night to $250 a night. This was all when entry-level staff in the hospitality industry were only earning $70 a month. So what happened was, with the increase in hotels and visitors, there was a massive lack of qualified staff. People were building hotels, investors were building hotels, but they actually didn't think where the staff would come from, who would be able to man them. So I was quite proactive, and I started working with Frank in one of the areas in the lake. Fast forward 5 years and everything was going really well. Passport to Success Myanmar was born out of the necessity, which was for hospitality training, once I saw this gap in the market. Then just over the last 7 years, we have seen lots of international hotels arriving. We have Best Western, Hilton, Accor, Melia. With these new hotels, it means more qualified staff. But also what happened was, the more hotels that were coming, many of the semi-qualified staff were getting higher positions by keep jumping hotels, but they actually lacked supervisory skills. So this is where Passport to Success came in. And we were able to train soft skills for the 2nd level after basic hospitality training. So we were able to do the supervisory skills training. In short, Passport to Success has now upskilled over 3,000 staff, and now the most exciting time for me is about to start. With all the new technology available, we're now looking to increase the availability for trainees so that we can start to use VR in the hospitality industry. This all brings me to the new startup which I've recently created, which is VRTICAL. As the above slide mentions, access to the internet. We now have access from mobile phones, etc. A smartphone is always nearby. Everyone's using Facebook, which by the way, in Myanmar, people think is the internet. VR training by using mobile-based VR headsets, mobile phones, is a great fit. I don't think I need to explain the general advantages of VR to you, but still, I'm going to have a little try. VR brings us additional possibilities to train more people in the same time, even not being there physically. VR training is efficient, and as recently discussed in the PwC white paper, employees trained in VR require less time to learn and demonstrate 340% more confidence. When I saw this slide a couple of weeks ago, I was so excited to actually read this report, and it really inspired me to move on. So VR training is very easy. The trainees can work from the VR headset, a mobile-based VR headset, or they can use their mobile phone. Training is cost-effective, and a lot of people can be trained by the same modules created by us. The hospitality trainees using VR are able to practice, make mistakes, and build up courage. But there's more. As soon as they put on their headsets, they are transported and immersed into real-life scenes and scenarios which are recognizable to them. Not only that, they can even jump to different parts of the hotel. So, for example, a kitchen steward could explore the hotel virtually, access parts of the hotel he normally wouldn't see, which might inspire him to cross-train towards another department. This brings us to the VR HTI concept. Besides the technical part of the job, soft skills are extremely important, and this is one of my main focus areas. A few of the Passport to Success training programs for soft skills have been adapted into VR, and we create 3 to 5 minutes interactive modules. These have all been filmed in Myanmar in lots of hotels, and we've taken mainly the hotel staff as part of the training process where we believe that the training is necessary. One of them, for instance, is intercultural exchange, where the trainees can immerse themselves in other cultures and learn more about their international guests. Part of the soft skills is interdepartmental group training sessions. Very important to understand how their colleagues work and learn for them to know their colleagues as well and know how they do their job. We've used VR for team building also, which always is a very fun session and everyone gets so excited. I'll just give you an example. One group can race against another group. They're given instructions, a bit like defuse the bomb. They go through a 360-degree treasure hunt through a local market, listening to instructions given by their teammates. They have to navigate through the virtual market, picking up and finding clues for the next step. All along the way, they're learning in English, and their listening skills are enhanced, and the understanding of clear communication is fully concreted. One of the modules is a guest arriving in our virtual hotel. The trainees welcomes the guest and decides which route to take towards his or her room, for instance. Along the route, questions will be asked about the hotel. While answering, the trainee should not make any mistakes, but they should also start making mistakes, checking the mistakes which have been made by front office or housekeeping. So they literally have to find how many mistakes have been made along the way. This could be a trolley which has been left in the lobby for too long, or dirty plates, for instance. The trainee at the end of the session will be evaluated on good customer interaction, bad interaction, or recoverable interaction. The trainee has then the possibility to go back again and replay the module and see if they would change anything. And also they can check if there is any other inconsistencies along the way. This is an extremely important module because it shows them that they can also recover from a bad situation. Okay. We were going to show you a video, but I saw that there was a few problems, so I decided to change the video into photos. So here you'll just see an example of onboarding. Since the hotel in question, you can go through the onboarding process and do it through 360 or straight to their mobile phone. We can use VR for onboarding of staff. And the great thing about this is before the new staff even arrive for their induction, send a link to walk around their new hotel and receive a personal welcome message from the general manager. Virtual hotel where this new employee is going to work is created by 360 interactive photos and videos. Another module is made to teach general hotel core values. All of these combined make the new staff member better prepared for their first day at work. And here's just an example of some of the modules for the hospitality industry. This one I've chosen is housekeeping, but we also have modules for front office, for kitchen. Literally every department are in creation at the moment. A large number of modules have been created and are ready to be used at the moment, and a lot more are being planned. The more we go on, they will become more specialised, and the ultimate aims and visions is to make the training modules not only accessible in Myanmar, but also to a global audience as well. The more real-life scenarios we can produce, the better. Potential for growth in the hospitality sector is phenomenal, with more hotels opening and consequently an increase in training. VRHTI is to offer cost-effective training solutions and enable trainees to take that first step into their future hospitality career. I also see a greater ability to use the likes of AltSpace with their private event facilities, to be able to offer training in hospitality English to a much wider audience by creating an interactive virtual global hospitality training platform where people from all over the world will be able to learn hospitality English. Our modules at VRHTI will be available in a number of different ways. For example, we will be selling them through our bespoke training solutions where we can reach people worldwide. We've partnered with a company who will be able to, people will be able to purchase the modules through an app, or we can deliver skills in a box, which is the VR headsets and the training modules already installed. I hope I've opened up a little bit for you, and thank you for listening, and I'd love to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Perfect, Tracy. Thank you very much. We already have, so we already have a question. Can you see in the chat?
No.
So how long does it take to produce this training solution, and what did it approximately cost?
How much did it cost to actually create them? A year's time. So it's taken me a year of continual adaptation, and also just going through the place sections. I started this just over a year ago, starting to get things together. To be honest, cost-wise, I haven't calculated any cost as to how much it has cost so far.
Okay, yet another question. Do you use Oculus Quest or do you use any other hardware?
Yeah, well, we use Oculus Quest, Oculus Go. They can also use it from the mobile phone. Yeah.
Okay. What, with COVID impacting hotels, do you still accept hospitality to invest as much? So do you think that they will be able to invest as much in training with COVID impacting hotels right now?
Well, actually, this is extremely important because now the training is even more necessary, because we've already, in Myanmar, we already went through a time where there was no tourists. And this is when I first started Passport to Success, was when there was no tourists available. We always look forward. So now it's a great time for hotels to start to invest in human capacity for when the tourists do come.
Okay. So Olivier is asking which technologies were used to create your solution?
Well, mainly it's 360 videos and 360 films, and then I just create them into the app which we've created.
Frengiz is also asking, are trainees able to participate in modules via their smartphones from home, or is everything done in classroom?
No, they can. They can. We have two types of modules. They can create from they can do it from their smartphones, or it can be part of blended learning.
Okay. Which
the blended learning means we're within the hotel and it's group sessions and they're competing against each other.
Okay. So so we have a redux of the question. Recording 360 videos and developing training modules and pretty much putting it all together into VR. So surely there are some costs involved besides Tracy's time. Well, yeah. What is it? Just Tracy's time, Tracy?
Well, if you knew me, you would know I have a way of getting everything that I want, and I'm happy to have a chat with whoever later on, no problem.
Will you be applying VR also to educate children in Myanmar? So going from tourism to education?
Yeah, this is another step that I would love to do, and we're now working also with some as well in Myanmar to work with augmented reality for learning, which will be with flashcards.
Really cool. So one last question before we bring in Daniel.
You could come on the stage, Daniel.
Yeah. So if so, how would you provide the headsets to children in the education part? Did you already think about that?
Okay, well, mainly it won't be from headsets, it will be from smartphones. What has happened is we have a new generation of, of people who are just used to smartphones. What's happening is within, for instance, a government school, even if the parents don't understand what is happening at school, they will be able to use their smartphone with this new augmented reality learning app and the flashcards. So the flashcards, for instance, will say a word in English, and it also says it in Burmese and in several other languages. So the parent doesn't even need to fully understand that the app will do most of it.
Perfect. Okay, Belen, you can ask directly to Tracy if she applied to any policy instrument from the Burmese government, because right now we actually need to move on and bring in Daniel. Where is Daniel? Is he? Well, yeah. I don't. You are perfect. So come up on stage, Tracy. Thank you very much for this.
Thanks. Thank you for your help. And please, anybody ask me questions privately, happy to speak to you.
Yeah, Tracy is going to join us also for the panel in half an hour. So you are more than welcome also to stay in touch and keep sitting. And so listen now to the talk from Daniel.
Thank you.
Mafalda, we were actually listening to you right now.
Perfect.
Okay. So Daniel.
Yep.
Hi.
Hi.
The stage is yours. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
For
I think
being
my
here.
screen is right.
Looks good.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. My name is Daniel, and I'm from East Africa, Ethiopia. So today I would be like sharing my my idea on how we use immersive technologies, especially to help out the tourism sector. So we apply gamifying things for this technology so that it is really important for the viewer. So I will be representing our company, Guzo Technologies, and our startup idea called Guzomap. So let me start by saying a few things about myself. So I'm the CEO and founder of Guzo Technologies. I'm also working as an independent contractor and trainer for Gabia Inc. So basically, Gabia Inc. is a well-known educational institute that I usually, most of the time, train web front-end technologies and also IoT for trainees, especially they are based in Africa. So just to move on about say a few things about Guzo Technologies. Guzo Technologies is a startup company based in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. We do AR and VR content design, development, and implementation. So this is what today's topic would be. And we have also an IoT platform and prototyping department, which we mostly develop our own hardwares. But this time we use the IoT platform entirely to hook it with the VR technology so that we have our own XR platform. And the last but not least is the enterprise software design and development part. So Guzomap, so this is our product. So let me just say a few things about Guzo itself. So when we say Guzo, it means travel in Amharic. So when we came up with this name, it lets you like to travel virtually, so that you will have a map kind of things and you can just go there and visit those places. So it's all in one photo and video virtual tour platform. This was like almost before I started this company, it was my capstone project while I was in campus. So now it's almost 6 years back. I was doing this project for my university, and so for students who came from different areas of the country to that university, they will have like a prior knowledge of how it looks, how the university looks like, where are like the dorms, the hospitals, the restaurants. They can get easily this kind of information. So after a while, I and my friends came up with this website, having some places We try to include several hotels and historical destinations. So basically, it lets you like to visit with a 360 panoramic experience. It can be a video, it can be a picture with different hotspots, so that you will have a brief information about that place. You can share it on social media. So this was like the start of Guzomap technology. Then after we established our company, almost now it's 8-9 months back, we came up with like, why don't we like modify our platform into an XR instead of like taking pictures. In order to take pictures and put it on website, it needs to be like physically available. That's what we believe. Like when we try to make all those places available on our website, we need to go there, take those pictures, do the stitching. Since we don't have this 360 camera by the time, it was like really hard. But now we came up with like creating the photorealistic scene from the ground up. So the inspiration was the Lion King movie. The entire movie was done in a virtual reality environment. It was having different gaming engines, especially Unreal Engine. So we also used the same technology stack here at our office, and we tried modeling all the famous historical heritage. We need to go get a brief detail about that place, especially the historical background, so we are not messing up some evidence, but it's really hard so doing such kind of historical sites. So we modeled do the modeling part on a 3D software. We use Blender for those like tech people out there, and we also use Unreal Engine and develop the entire game for a VR environment. So I think it's hard maybe to play a video from here. I don't want to miss my presentation, but you can check on YouTube by searching like Bakafa's Palace as indicated above. So it's a really interesting project. It was one of our MVP projects as a minimum viable product. We came up with this. You can just grab the file, you can take a tour, you can just navigate to all the places you want. There are like interactions. Since it's game, there are interactions, and if there are some historical lessons you need to know by the time when this castle was functioning, so you can take this as a game and play maybe with bow and arrow. You will take some bow and arrow and play with those as a game. So this was the concept behind like recreating everything from the scratch and putting it on a 3D environment. This will give us a chance to include all the heritage sites which are not even physically available right now. Like only 75% of those historical sites are available. Some of them are damaged, some of them are not even having the actual beauty of what it's been before. So this is like we are trying to put 300 and 400 years back, even 1,000 years back history to online. So this really gives us a good opportunity, especially during this COVID. I will come back to the COVID outbreak and its impacts. So the second thing we added this platform is a digital virtual tour guide, or we call her Lucy, since she is famous. It's a well-known name. Lucy is given for the first human-like skeleton found in Afar. So we took the name from that and gave it to our digital assistant. So basically what Lucy does is she's AI enabled. She can know, she can hear us, so that we can give her like some commands or ask her about specifics about that place. So she will take us to all the tour points and also explain how the history. So for the time being, we also included the Google speech engine for this project, which let us like to understand more than 100 different languages instantly to our platform. So anyone from any part of the world, they can just give or ask a question so that Lucy would answer based on her programmed data that is available on our platform. So she will dress up like with the cultural thing that is like she can reflect the place. So if she is like the northern part of our country, the dress will be different. So since Ethiopia consists like more than 80 different nations and nationalities, it's easier for us like to switch her clothes and her different styles based on the places that we are putting online. So visitors will get it like more immersive, and at the same time they can just ask anything they want and take the tour like it was like nothing before like possible as of like the old ways. So these days I will be back to my presentation. The international tourist arrivals is going down, as you can see on the graph. This I got this study from Addis Ababa Hotel Owners Association. They conducted this research. So I'm more focused into the Ethiopian context, but I guess I believe it's the same for all African countries, because now the international tourist arrival is going really bad. As you can see, it's indicating like it's below 0%, which is minus 30%. From what we expect, this is really bad. So especially the tourism sector is now closed. I can say 100% like that. We are like losing more than $35 million each and every month. There is a current city-wise occupancy rate is going down. It's less than 2%, as you can see. So it's really hurting. This COVID outbreak is really hurting the sector. So the only option, like to stand the sector again, or to help with or make it stable again, is by boosting all these places or supporting all these places through a virtual reality platform. So operating as a virtual reality platform company, especially in Africa, is really hard. Most of the time what I face when I do similar presentations, similar conferences, we do have a lot of this in support. We do practice most of these emerging technologies like AI, VR, AR, and also blockchain, but it's really bad when you are looking for investors. But investors, most of the time, our local investors, they are not interested in supporting the sector. But now I think it's really obvious there is no other option to help out this tourism and hospitality industry other than VR and AR platforms in an affordable way. Our plan was to develop an Ethiopian XR kind of project, because since we are based in Ethiopia, and it's easier to do our own historical places first before we jump into the other African countries. It was like easier to create all this and put it in airports. So whenever there are like transits and also some tourists, we were like planning to enable them. Maybe, yeah, they could be taking this as their plan, so that next time when they visit Ethiopia or any African country, they will be visiting this place. So if we just keep developing all this place and put it inside airports, it is easier for visitors to visit and have this experience. So as a data, just to give you an insight, in Ethiopian Airlines, there are like almost 11 to 12 million visitors came annually. So these visitors like are transits. They are not entering Ethiopia, but they are like transit visitors. So if they will be staying here for 3 hours, 5 hours, or it can be 8 hours. So if we just have such kind of platforms placed in our airport, imagine if they pay us like maybe $1 for each 5-minute video tour or a VR experience, we might have a $1 million revenue each year. So for African countries, this means a lot. But now this COVID outbreak, it totally closed the tourism sector, and this is our only option to work on and put it available on market. So one thing to mention regarding the XR platform, since we call it XR because we are also creating our own motion platforms, motion simulator platforms. So one project is we are about to sign off is I'm just giving you an insight. It's based in Laval. It's like historical church. So there are like around 11 churches in a single place, and they are all connected with a tunnel. So it's good to have a roller coaster experience with in-house motion platform. So if we just buy this from, for example, China, it might cost us around $3,000 to $20,000. But as a startup company and as an IoT enthusiast as well, we are creating our own motion platform. So it will give us more immersive experience when our visitors tour this. So this was what we've been doing to help out our XR platform. So this is what makes us like to talk more about VR and also this XR in general, XR platform, especially during this outbreak. Most hotels are now closed. So as you can see on the chart, almost 56% of hotels are now closed, and the Addis Ababa Hotels Owners Association survey indicates like almost their 88% of their members are either they are partially decided to close or fully closed their hotels due to this occupancy rates, the low occupancy rates. So we are losing a lot of revenue out of this, and also there is a low rate of having a chance to recover back from this outbreak. But just to make it stable, I think what we are forcing, if there are any African developers on this VR and AR technologies will agree with this idea. There is no other way to put our historical sites, heritage online other than this VR experience. So by making it or by adding some gamified experience on top of this, it will create more immersive and attractive experience to the visitors. So these days, even we are conducting our meeting with a virtual platform. So it's possible to have a similar experience for African heritage. I'm focusing on the African heritage because they are the one which are like behind every other developed country. We get like a very low amount of revenue out of this. So I think this will help out to recover back from this damage. So according to the Oxford Economics research on coronavirus impacts and recovery, they said the 2019 figures of this level, international visitor arrivals, will take several years as they indicate. But even on the major cities, it can be expected in 2021, but will be below 2019's figure. So it's really hard to bring back that figure after this coronavirus. So if it lasts maybe this year, probably we might recover it back, but it's really hard for major cities And if you consider African countries, yeah, definitely it's a really bad thing. So as a startup and with my team, we are really working hard on combining all these technologies as of our own skills to put it online and make us one of our revenue platform to the country. So this model can be even shared with a lot of other African countries. I also got in contact with major VR AR enthusiasts all over Africa. So they got the same ambition on this platform to build up similar platforms on virtual storytelling. Regarding the AR sector also, we are developing a smart book. So probably if you join our YouTube page, we keep posting some of our findings and experiments every time when it's ready. So I'm inviting you to watch our works. It's hard maybe to showcase it on stage, but if you just join our YouTube page, you can see the roller coaster example, the virtual production taste for a storytelling, and also some of our media coverage. So it's easier to understand the platform of Guzomap. Thank you.
Perfect. Daniel, thank you very much. If anyone has questions, please put them on the public chat. Thank you very much for all this introduction, Daniel. It's yeah, we're all living pretty much everywhere in the world the impact of COVID-19. So and I think that to get the numbers back to what they were, I think that we need to understand that we're not going to do business as usual anymore, because yeah, things are changing, and because we already changed, our tourism attitude is going to be different. So yeah, for sure. Jessica is asking if your presentation is available somewhere.
Yeah, maybe I can send the link, or I will attach it maybe. Is there a way to share to the public here?
If you could just upload maybe on the Google Docs and then sharing as an open presentation and then sharing on the public chat, that would be great.
Perfect, I will do that. It's not available on Google, but I will post it and share the links here.
Yeah. Frengiz is asking if the content for the gamified tour is available on an app.
One is the question: is there a content for the gaming part?
Yeah,
no, it's not available for public use. It's on in-house, and also the project is funded by some government officials, so it's not available for public. But now, after this COVID outbreak, we are planning to release some of the application on Steam VR and Oculus Store. That's our plan. Yeah. Okay. There are any more questions? Yeah, I think someone posted about Guzomap. Yeah, Grigory, thanks. Posted our page from LinkedIn. Thanks. So how do you monetize your work? The monetization strategy is to partner up with some business companies, especially in Ethiopia. There are some resorts. Since we do gamified content, mostly resorts are interested in our work, and different hotels. So we have a revenue share model, so that anyone who uses our platform and who pays for it we will split back with the business. And the second thing is, like I mentioned, with airports. So the business model is especially the same as well for the other business. So it's basically a revenue share model. That's how we plan to monetize. So the sources are, most of the time, it's B2B business. So that was what we planned. What do you plan to expand where do you plan to expand? Okay. Especially this outbreak really hurt the plans that we've been doing for a while. but we've been like looking for investors, and we are trying to negotiate with some of them. But the current situation is making them more not to be interested as before. But we are trying our best, like to see this and to expand. What I see for Guzomap technology is not only limited for Ethiopia. We need to establish the same thing for other African countries. On top of this tourism, we are also working on EdTech. So that's how we see our company. Regarding museums, yeah, of course. So the smart book on AR platform, that's really useful for museums. So we are preparing an on-site tour. So you just need to download our app and hover on our available smart book so that you can have more detailed experience about the museums. So that is the plan. But the current situation, especially in Ethiopia, is not good to contact all these bodies. Everything is closed. So that's also one of our plan.
Okay.
Any question? I think it's done.
It's pretty much this. Of course, everyone can buzz and can reach out to Daniel after this presentation. So thank you, Daniel, for this actually really interesting focus on what is happening right now. Yeah, for sure. I think it's the perfect entry point to yeah. Exactly that. No, thank you, Daniel. Because again, it points out the challenges that we're dealing right now, and the way, or the several ways, the diversified ways that VR and AR can actually bring in solutions. So to discuss this, I then invite Mafalda, Frengiz, Barbara, and Tracy to join me on stage and to do well, to discuss these matters. So I don't know if you are around or if you're already here. Let me just do a spin. So you are. This is so cool. Hi, Frengiz. So perfect. So and Irene is here also.
Unit is here.
He seems to have a neck pain of sorts, but still. Perfect. So thank you very much for being here. This is going to be well a small discussion panel about these well challenges that we have ahead. So maybe it's important today to well pretty much focus on and discuss what will really be the benefits. Sorry, I'm hearing like yeah, and I was hearing like this buzzing sound. Sorry. So just to say that it's really important for us to actually take care of the solutions for the challenges that are at hand, because these solutions and the way that we handle these challenges is going to define how we're going to well be in like 6 months, 1 year, and probably for the next decade. So without further ado, probably I will like start by asking yeah, starting from maybe Frengiz, and then going further, I would start by asking so how do you think that VR and AR can actually help solving the challenges at hand with COVID-19? Frengiz?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, with kind of a buzzing sound on the back, but yes.
Okay, I'm just trying to see what I can do to. Is that better?
Yeah, but it's cool. Go ahead.
That's better? Okay. So in terms of transforming tourism after COVID, I think it's helpful first to think about or define perhaps what we're going to talk about in terms of the period after COVID. It's so hard to predict, but I was thinking perhaps for our conversation to imagine a time 6 months post COVID. And this again isn't a perfect solution, but it might help frame the way we speak about things in terms of imagining all restrictions lifted internationally, where the traveling public has, confidence to get back to some international travel, with understanding that, there will be certain segments a segment of the traveling public that will be lost or won't travel. So with that as my lens, I do see certain traveler concerns because of COVID that can be eased by using VR and AR. Some of them more of a clear path, and some we could discuss, and I bet there's a lot of different opinions. But in terms of a clear application for VR and AR, I think travelers being able to get information on, the disinfection, the cleanliness, health protocols, and air quality in airplanes, in hotels, even in museums they might want to go to. And, whether that's on an app or someday, in their smart glasses, understanding the status of sort of those basic items. And then in terms of social distancing and experiencing cultural or, museum or other types of in-destinations, the 100% self-guided, augmented reality tours, thinking about what X-PLORA is doing, and Mafalda's company and Joao's company at Nest, those types of experiences where, with 100% self-guided historic tour, you could enjoy augmented or virtual reality experiences and also control the distance that you have with, other people. There's a couple of other things we could circle back to, including virtual tourism and virtual citizenship. But I'll let the other panelists also chime in.
Okay. Tracy, taking what Frengiz just said into account, and being that we will be probably focusing on cleanliness and keeping a distance with other human beings while visiting other places, how do you think that VR and AR can actually help bring up tourism after COVID-19? Tracy, are you there?
Hi, sorry, I was having a few problems.
Okay.
Well, I'm actually going to look at it in two different ways. One thing is the training aspect of it. Now is a fantastic time for all of these hotels to start training. Many of the staff are still being paid, even if it's 50 to 80% of their salary. So this is a fantastic time for them to develop. And I think whilst doing this, we can also look at the other side where, as many of the hotels are still open, this is the time for them to start digitally promoting the hotel. and creating, even for instance, housekeeping could be filming how to make an elephant out of a towel, you know, so that they're not losing the interest in their, especially using the likes of Facebook and things, but that they can start to do this also with AR, with VR, once the general managers realize how much the digital impact can be. I think they just don't realize that yet, though.
Tracy?
Hi, yeah.
We lost you.
Oh, yeah,
Now
I'm
we
having
do.
a few problems. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I think there's a couple of ways that we can look at it, but mainly I think it's in a positive way, and all of a sudden the digital economy is going to increase more than it did before.
Okay. Barbara, what do you think about how VR and AR can help tourism, especially well, with your experience of location-based applications?
Hey there. Hi, Luis. Can you hear me well?
Perfectly, loud and clear.
Perfect. Thank you so much for putting this amazing panel together. It's a big honor to be here in Laval Virtual, and thanks for the question. Well, it has been, of course, a very crazy time, strange days to talk in sci-fi terms for everything location-based and destination or attraction-based, where people come together to enjoy certain experiences together. So this is a great example here at Laval Virtual in this virtual world, how it could be to experience something that normally people were looking forward to travel to and enjoy the location and socialize with each other. So we see it's possible. It's very different, but we see it's possible. If your business is based on something where people go to enjoy stuff together, like in location-based VR, it's a game changer. It's really, really difficult at the moment, and like VR attractions, but also cinema chains of having to shut down. It's really crazy times at the moment. So, however, we see that there are different possibilities, and maybe more people now access virtual worlds from home, like it was foreshadowed in Ready Player One or in Snow Crash. So they might be more attracted to visit location-based VR location destinations open again. So this could be maybe an interesting implication of this COVID crisis. On the other hand, of course, also the location-based owners, VR location owners, have to rethink and how to survive these hard days at the moment with other strategies. However, I think that now that we are locked at home, our strive to travel again might be fired up, and we are really looking forward to go out and see different places again. Like yesterday, a very good friend of mine was waiting as a patient at the doctor's, and there were TV sets all over to make the patients feel more relaxed. And they showed empty beaches, empty mountain ranges, empty cities like Venice or Rome, so real tourist destinations where you would normally love to go with your friends and other people, but suddenly you see, wow, I would have never been able to go to these empty places, these wonderful empty castles. There are no tourists hoarding in front of the pyramid or something like that. So it opens up a lot of room for creativity as well about how to travel to virtual spaces, but together, like separate but together. So I really like to say this is not social distancing what we're doing, but physical distancing. And it's up to us creatives now to think, how can we travel together by not physically being together?
Yeah.
Thank you, Luis.
Thank you, Barbara. It's actually really, really interesting that you say that, because the pyramids are empty, but this room is full. So, or at least, so it's yeah, it's interesting to get in touch and let that sink in. But Mafalda, are you there?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
you hear
perfect. So I'm going to well, ask you exactly the same question, maybe with a twist, because Victoria just was on the public chat asking, what do you think if there should be a local tourism approach? And with your experience, I think it would be interesting to hear what you have to say about how VR benefit local tourism. And adding to that, I would also ask you, what do you think would be or are the major challenges for implementing VR and AR in tourism, generally speaking, but also specifically on local tourism?
Luis, I didn't hear all the questions because it was a crash on my computer, so I didn't hear the previous questions.
Okay, really quick.
So if you could brief me a little bit more.
Okay, I'll sum it up. It's really really simple. So it's the same question, but for local tourism. So how do you feel
same question? You say the same question, but what was the question?
Oh, sorry.
sorry.
So the question is, how do you think that VR and AR is going to benefit and can help the tourism post-COVID, especially local tourism? And also, my second question to you is, how or what kind of challenges do you think are ahead of us to actually implement these VR and AR solutions in the tourism field?
Yeah, I think that with this COVID transformation, maybe the VR and the AR had the greatest opportunity of it's live, no, it's like a lifetime opportunity that we have here. People are interacting and getting in touch with virtual platforms for the first time. You see, like, classical museums open their doors virtually for the first time, and we have here a great opportunity to use these technologies and to present them to the world. And of course, I believe that we after this COVID situation, people will still have the resistance to be socially normal in a normal behavior. I mean, they will still keep the social distance. They will still don't want to go to a very crowded place. So maybe like 1 year after this, we are still talking about having virtual experiences. And locally, of course, in our countries, well, there's a little an information that I saw yesterday about Forbes that is promoting Portugal as the best place to be after COVID. So I think we will have an opportunity to in our country. But besides that, I think that people have never thought about so deeply as in this moment to go to a place that is like in our country, in a virtual way and interact with that and bringing that to their homes, as in these times that we are living now. So of course that VR and AR will benefit tourism, because it will give these opportunities that are huge.
Perfect. And what do you think the main challenges when you speak or when you are talking directly with tourism and tourism agencies like hotels, with the museum caretakers? What do you think the challenges are in implementing these solutions
during this COVID?
Nowadays we are pretty much cramped up in our houses, so it's it's a bigger challenge. But even afterwards, how can we accelerate the adoption of these VR and AR solutions?
Yeah, the thing is that museums are opening their doors virtually and for free, no? And after this, they will have to like switch off this all of these contents that are freely being used, and take a balance between the free content and the paid content. And they will have some difficulty to find out what is the balance, because they are now opening every content that they have to the world, but then they have their business. They will want to open their doors and to have tickets there. So it will be a creativity work of new business models and also as new experiences that the people will have to analyze, I think.
Okay, and Tracy, what do you think? What are, from your experience, the major challenges in implementing the VR and AR as well, a trend to adopt in order to transform the tourism post-COVID?
Okay, well, first of all, sorry, I didn't hear anyone. It crashed. So I think that there's now, as everybody is starting to, I mean, if you have a look on LinkedIn, every day you see thousands of people posting about Zoom as if it's this brand new thing that they've just, that they've just found. I think taking it the next step, and if we start looking now into the VR and AR, now is the time that people are thinking digitally. So this is a fantastic time to actually go to companies who beforehand really wouldn't have been thinking about doing much digital marketing. They think is just Facebook or, online presence. But now is the great time to take it a step further with VR and AR. There's lots of opportunities.
Yeah, fully agree.
Yeah.
Frengiz, what do you think?
Yeah, I can just piggyback off of that. Is my mic okay?
Again, some buzzing sound at the back, but still, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, guys. I would just piggyback off of that and say that generally the hurdles that I've identified are mostly money and motivation for 3 different categories in terms of adopting this new content format. The smaller tours and experience companies and independent hotels, there's a money issue, but also motivation, because right now everything they're offering, like the Get Your Guide or Viator, for example, even Airbnb, it's a flat website experience. Some of them have 360 photos or video content, So I think it's the VR and AR industry's job number one to help businesses see that content creation is going to be beneficial for their bottom line. So for those companies, I would say, you know, focusing on their return on investment, increased bookings. Then we've got the major hotels and bigger experience companies. And for them, it's not really a money issue, but again, it's creating, you know, the motivation for them to move past the blockers that they have and start, you know, taking advantage of the amazing resources for content production that are out there. And same with cities and destination management organizations. The idea of cities creating 3D models, you know, companies like Nest is touching on it, and Zone is an amazing Finnish company that's doing, has done a 3D Helsinki model, you know, showing cities that, look, if you create this content, you can license it for real estate, you know, of course, for tourism, for a lot of other business purposes.
Great. For sure. Those are right now. It was really great that you pointed out some of the large opportunities for tourism businesses to be transformed and to change in a way, also to leverage the opportunities that VR and AR are bringing. So following up on that, Barbara, besides asking you, what do you think the major challenges for a wider VR AR adoption are in the tourism industry? I would also like to ask you, what do you think that trends like, for instance, 5G or smart glasses can add to the game?
Well, it's very interesting to be here on this panel because I come like somehow from the other side, like with location-based VR. So we use VR as a destination. So we are in the same trouble than non-VR tourist destinations at the moment, but we are already using VR. And VR is for us not the reason why more people would come. We have the same problems. We have the social distancing, we have the hygiene, we have high rents in locations. We have all the same problems. It's really interesting. It will be very interesting to see when COVID is over and city tourism will start slowly getting active again. If people now use these opportunities to visit, let's say, real places like famous churches or theaters or museums, they missed before in their previous life, and now want to say, oh, I don't want something like COVID to happen again. I rather do it now than never. Vienna, the city of Vienna has the slogan, like, for visiting the city, Vienna, now or never, which is very interesting in times like these. If people would then, if they, let's say they are in Vienna or Prague, they would go to a VR location like they would have done before because they have seen the other stuff or thought, oh, I can see the church all the time. Now I want to really see this new VR location, what they are showing. So how strongly VR locations can attract shortly after the Corona travel would, post-Corona travel would start again. Concerning 5G and what it will change in terms of how we perceive virtual or mixed realities, of course, it will be a very big game changer. Doubtlessly, of course, in terms of what kind of information I can gather on a tour and stuff like that. However, I'm really interested in how it will change traveling together again, like the social aspect. The social aspect is the thing that makes location-based VR really interesting and different from non-location-based VR, where you are at home and meet virtually, like we do right now here in Virbella. So physically being together is still the main attraction of going to a location-based VR destination. With 5G, this will not be necessary anymore, maybe. So because we can really meet wherever we are and have the feeling maybe we are in the same room if it really works. So I'm really curious to see what content creators can come up with to make the travel together experience, be it with smart glasses or other devices, a feeling that feels or comes close to the feeling we have now in reality. So that, yeah, could it help? Did it answer a bit of my, so these are my thoughts on that at the moment.
And meanwhile, I had this issue drop, but I'm back.
Okay. I
So
was
I'll
out
have,
for a moment,
yeah.
but I was not at the toilet.
Well, but I'm going to I'm going to rely on pretty much everyone else to tell me that. So Tracy, what do you think? Do you think that what do you think about what Barbara just said, and also what do you think about new technologies like again 5G glasses? Web AR, pretty much the AR clouds being created. So how is those going to change the way that we interact and the way that, well, things are going to happen in the coming years? Tracy, are you there?
Hi, my computer's gone down, so I'm just logged in as somebody else. Can you hear me?
Okay, perfectly.
So sorry if my computer crashed yet again. So I'll just guess what I'm going to say, but it's more or less that I think that we still need to have social contact. You know, we even though with all the VR and everything and all the things which can happen to bring us. One of my main things is that I feel that people will start to use it more to show their family and friends. So for instance, I'll just give you an example. For me, being in Myanmar, if I could show all my family in the UK and anywhere all over the world, if they can see and live through my eyes in a very, very clear way, I would love to be able to take them for walks. I would love to, you know, for them to be able to see what I see.
Okay. And do you think that these new technologies are going to help with that, or are they going to actually set us apart?
Yeah, I think that they can help with more interaction. As I mentioned a bit earlier about Zoom, people are now getting really sick to death of 8 hours of being online in front of a computer. So much so that so many people are turning it off. And I think this is where the VR comes in more. It's fun, you know, it's more of a, you really feel that you're there. And I think this is one of the good things. I don't know whether I missed it, but I just wanted to just say one thing. I think the main problem that we do have with the take-up of this is until a few months ago, most people weren't using all of this technology. But over the last 2 months, people have really stepped up their technology intake. And I think this really is the dynamic time to take it for that next step. See what we have a really fantastic opportunity to people using VR and AR.
Yeah, fully agree. Mafalda, picking that up, what do you think? Do you think that 5G and smart glasses, are they actually going to help this newer adoption that we're having with this time that we're spending at home, or are they just going to set us even more apart and not really help us in any way?
Yeah, I think that 5G and smart glasses are still a game changing on the experience of the users, and of course with this stay-at-home policy, we will have more curious to experience this kind of technology such as smart glasses. And this will open the door to use it outside when this contest will end, and when we can go to the places and use smart glasses outside. But the first introduction to smart glasses can be at home, because people are keen to get in touch with these new technologies to change a little bit the way they are at home on their computers. There is still a thing about smart glasses that I think that is not solved, that they need to be more wearable, and this the industry must come out with a solution, with a much more wearable solution, in order to people really get used to that. So they can try it at their homes right now. They can have the curiosity of trying at their homes, to be on their living room, having a dinosaur in your living room with glasses. But then if you go outside in the real world and in your everyday routines, if you want to get people to use the smart glasses, you will need to of course get more wearable smart glasses, and this is the most important challenge to smart glasses. Of course 5G will add here a factor that is really important, that you will have more data, more information, more good quality contents really fast and really access. But then the smart glasses will have to take the same step on evolution and get it to a more wearable issue.
Perfect. So
Luis, I think that there's a question that's in the public chats.
Exactly. I was actually
that is
going to pick that up.
Really interesting. Okay.
Yeah. That actually connects with what we're talking about, right? So right now we have two. So we're going to pick up, probably you're talking about the question. She's asking, as I wear glasses and need them to actually see, in the event of making VR and AR more accessible, are there updates on that? So right now, Mafalda, can you please?
I was talking about the other question before that. If VR will replace the kind of tourist experiences.
Okay, perfect. I'm going just to ask you one thing. Can you please turn down the volume, because then it's some feedback on the stage while I talk, because I'm hearing me back. I'm hearing.
Okay.
But so Victoria's question is pretty straightforward. I think the answer, in the sense that right now you already have some solutions in the market that actually allow you to have more accessibility in this area. So you already have smart glasses that allow you to have your own glasses, reading glasses in there. So for instance, when as you can see from my avatar, I also am a proud owner of some glasses. And we can actually, some of them, I use HTC, I use Oculus without any kind of hindrance. So it's pretty straightforward. So the other question that Gonçalo shared is, since the most tourism business is already a virtual experience, could VR replace this kind of touristic experience? Mafalda, you were interested in answering this question.
Yeah, because I think that that is like a perspective that people can have, that is to be afraid of get virtually, and the main venues can have this doubt about what can I do if I give my museum to people virtually, and what can I do if in the world outside there are these man-made places where people can be immersively totally transported to the venues, and what about if people just get used to this and then they don't really like to be there physically? No, I think that I have many clients in my company that really have this doubt, and they don't really want to get totally virtual because they have afraid of being a substitute to the physical experience. But then I realize every day, and with my experience, that people, we are natural born social human beings, and we want to go to museums with our friends or with our family, and this will not be replaced by the VR or AR. And I think that being inside Capella Sistina, for example, will not be the same of get it virtually. And so I think that there's a huge opportunity to VR and AR to be a complement, to be something that you add on to the physical experience. It's just that it's not going to replace the physical experience on the tourism and on the visits. I think it's my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, right now reading a bit of the chat, and just getting back to Victoria's question really quickly. Try, for instance, North. They pretty much have a very straightforward approach to what smart glasses are, and they are graded. Mafalda, can you please turn the speaker a bit down? Meanwhile, I have this Andre. I'm not sure if I'm saying your name correctly. Sorry, man. Andre Bach. It said something really cool. Yeah, N-Real glasses are going to be the first wearable one, but without the great content, there is no value added, and that's for sure. That's something really important, because what we're doing right now is actually building up the experiences, building up all of the pretty much the content, and of course that hardware and distribution networks are really important. But overall, at the end of the day, if there is no great content available and a large amount of content, then the tool itself is not that well needed. Barbara, since you work with a lot with content, what do you have to say about this?
I'm so grateful, Andre. Thanks for mentioning this. All our hardware doesn't mean a thing if there isn't great content. And especially now that Andre posed this question in the chat, I wanted to mention his content studio, Diver, in Prague, anyway, who manages, and this is something amazing. It's one of the very few, I would say maybe the most popular, but the world's most popular VR tourist destination. It's in the center of Prague, where you might think that people might go to Prague for other reasons. But if they're there already, they also check out DiveVR's Golem experience, which is like a legend based on Prague. So you have content that's specifically created for a destination, for a city where people go anyway. It's not something, it's not scalable, because of course the Golem really belongs to the city, but it's a place where people will always go because they want to have the specific Prague experience. It's not something like, let's say, some like a zero latency location where you can have the same experiences all over the world, but they don't need to be in a specific place. So this is a very special example of where the right content at the right location serves as a new kind of perfect tourist destination based on VR. I think that's a fantastic example of what they're doing there, and they are doing economically really well. Of course, now it's a big challenge during COVID, but it's one of those places that worked since the first month. They made profits in the first month and still would do and will do, hopefully, after COVID is over. So I can only second that without content, no hardware really matters. And what do we do with 5G? What do we do with the possibilities to switch seamlessly between realities when there is nothing interesting to see? Also, I want to touch up on the last question where Mafalda was so chiefly talking about will virtual experiences replace the real experiences, like a real museum or a real church or a real pyramid? I think that's a great, it's almost a philosophical question. It's a question of technology, the progress of technology, of course. So if we believe in science fiction, VR will be better than reality soon, especially if we keep on destroying the planet. But for places like that are non-visible, not visitable, like Chernobyl or the pyramids, the insides of the pyramids, or maybe under seas, or travel in time, like going back to ancient Rome, or going into future Rome smart city, or going to other planets. I mean, tourism is not, it's not confined to time and not confined to our planet if we are doing it in a VR setting. So these are new kinds of travel possibilities we have to think about. There might be travel agencies to take you to places you can only imagine, to the places of fantasy, like a good fantasy movie does. So I'm very looking forward what content creators will come up when it comes to thinking about tourism as well. Dreamscape is also doing a great job with their alien zoo, where it's basically like a tour through like a zoo with alien creatures. So there are so many new possibilities, and I think they will not ever erase the importance of the real place. It's like with art. When you see a picture of the Mona Lisa, is it the same as you see the real Mona Lisa in the Louvre? You will still want to go there. Or it's the same with a live concert. You want to see your rock stars, your fans since, I don't know, 10 years live. It's not enough to listen to them on a record or to watch a video or even be with them in a 360 environment, maybe not even a VR environment. So there's still this feeling of authenticity, of the moment. You cannot repeat that. This is only once in a lifetime in the cosmos. You will stand in front of your hero or in front of this image, this painting, or be inside the pyramid. However, there are experiences that are not possible in our biological world or physical world. And these are very, very big chances for a completely new strand of tourism.
Yeah, that already is
Totally agree.
So right now, we already have it, but more than that, I think that one trend that we're seeing is also that these two realities, so virtual reality and the augmented one, also approaching the physical reality, and kind of as Gregory was saying, kind of well, mixing it all up in a gamified version of reality, which kind of sets the tone for what's coming. I don't know, Frengiz, what do you think about these possibilities, and how do you think that these taking off the plugs. So just to ask you, so how do you think, Frengiz, that this is going to go in the coming time?
Well, I have to say this is such an amazing conversation, and it's so exciting to be a part of this. I wanted to touch on because Barbara and Mafalda and the others have been digging into it. I wanted to touch on this possible model of virtual citizenship and kind of play around with that. The idea is that if we're going to have a major shift to remote work after COVID, if that comes to be, what are the thoughts about a virtual citizenship model? Meaning that, you know, I'm not tethered to one city anymore. I can physically travel and enjoy living, you know, and working remotely. But when I leave London, I might like to keep my virtual home in London when I go to my next country or city, but I might miss some of the shopping or a cultural event, that kind of thing. And so that kind of, like what you were saying, Louis, we can mix it up, have like a hybrid of, you know, VR, AR, and real life travel with a virtual citizenship model.
Yeah. And it all boils down to what's being human and who we are and who we want to be after COVID-19 is gone. Well, it won't be definitely gone. Probably will be around. We'll just be more, I guess, professional at handling things. So thank you very much, Mafalda, Barbara, Frengiz, Tracy, for this conversation, this discussion. It could go on for quite some time, but yeah, for sure, it's something that we now need to end. I would just take the time also to let everyone in the audience to know that if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to approach both me and pretty much all of the speakers here on stage, as well as everyone that was presenting. So that's the cool thing about VR, that although we're not there, the avatar is, so we can actually get in all the questions. And besides that, I would also take the time just to thank the Laval's organization. It's been like a great experience. Thank you very much. Of course, there are always, when you have events, there are always issues that we need to tackle. But overall, the benefit of actually being here, well, right now I'm talking to you from a stand in my place, and just being available to talk with so many interesting people at the same time, and to explore it in this really fun way is really wonderful. So thank you for the opportunity, and also thank you, Gregory, for making all of this possible. Yeah, and we're pretty much done. So here's the flip, and we're pretty much done. Thank you very much. You have a great event.
Thank you, Luis. Thank you all. You can wait if you want to. The next keynote will take place here from NVIDIA, maybe in 5 minutes. Thank you again, Luis, and thank you again, Tracy, Barbara, Fenris, Mafalda. It was a great